to order. And with that, since we have some new members here, especially Pat, I was
boy.
wondering, okay, might be beneficial if we had some introduction of ourselves so we'd know a little bit about each other.
Oh, okay. Want me to go?
Well,
Yeah, you go.
everyone's
I want
got.
to see how you do it so I can copy you.
But that,
She was here last week.
I know, but
Well, my name's Pat Cheever. I've been in the town 50 years. 50 years, 52 years, I think, 50, somewhere like that. I live on Indian Inn.
Yeah.
South Shore Road, rather, off of Indian Inn, up by Webster Lake. I've worked at the school for over 40 something, since 1977, I've worked at the school.
really,
I'm retired from the school, but I still sub. I work today. I sub usually in kindergarten or preschool. And I collect insects, and I like to hike. And, I'm married, 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and that's about it.
Dave?
Yes, no, Dave Clark, you said you were in town 50 years. I went, how long have I been here? And it
yeah.
turns out, well, more than half my life. Over 40 years, I'm mostly known in town as Valerie Weaver's husband. But I've had multiple careers, 3 careers, multiple jobs, and my 3 careers were actor, entertainer, followed by software engineer, followed by biology teacher. You kind of get whiplash going from one to the other. And basically I'm here because I believe in conservation, preserving old stuff, but also because I was at a selectmen's meeting. They said they need people. And I went, okay, I'm a people. So,
Good, welcome.
so that's why I'm here.
Judy?
Oh, boy. I'm Judy Rondo. I haven't been in town quite as long as you both have, but my family is from town, so I guess I can claim those roots. I have been involved with the Conservation Commission since its inception, although I took a few years off and recently joined, I guess just in this past year. And I was also on the Inland Wetlands Commission for a number of years, and then I was the Wetlands Enforcement Officer for a number of years.
Well, my name is Carol Smith and I lived in town all my life. I won't tell you how many. I won't tell you how many years. And I haven't been on this, maybe 6 years, maybe. I'm interested in conserving too.
Enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Norma O'Leary, most of you know, and I've lived here all of my life. I've been active in conservation work with the Windham County Conservation District, and then we merged with New London, so I've been active statewide. And I'm pleased to be at a local level now where I'm really enjoying it, especially at my age. And I'm doing what I can to help the town become a better town to live in, and hopefully people will have more pride to live in it. Sue?
Hi, I'm Sue Wheeler. And I've been here for almost 18 years. It'll be 18 in January. I've lived in multiple places. Ray and I came up from North Carolina, 17 years living there, doing all kinds of organic farming. And before that, I had a horseshoeing business and moved the business, so to speak, down to North Carolina and made it into a blacksmithing business so I could have a tax dodge. Anyway, no, all my life I've done something of having to do with the land. And when my kids were raised, we homesteaded, we raised all our own food and meat and did the heating with wood thing and the whole deal. Just basically doing what is most natural. raised my second husband, and he's part Native American, and that's where I get a lot of my spiritual roots. Not from him necessarily, but Native American stuff. Did a lot of work down in North Carolina with Native Americans and their art and their creativity from all over the country. Had art shows and all that kind of stuff. And coming up here, we're solar people. We have a complete setup for our property. And we farm a little bit of almost 2 acres of land, make maple syrup. And it was basically, oh, I worked at the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp for 16 years too, as their head gardener, their only gardener. And I do gardening now on the side for part-time self-employment. So that's about it.
Thank you. Who's on? Just Dan on
Dan and Heather.
and Heather, okay. And I
Hi,
guess,
Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Malo. I'm the conservation agent. I help administer the commission for every one of you. I've been with the town since August of 2021. I come to that position with 7 years in Windsor Locks as their zoning, blight, and wetlands officer. I'm also at the same time now the wetlands agent and zoning officer in Woodstock as well on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's something new I'll be getting to in my report later on, but I'll give it up to Heather here.
Okay.
I'm Heather. I'm your recording secretary. I'm born and raised in Thompson. Still actually have property out on an open space out on Parker Road. My parents still reside in Thompson, so I have a very strong Thompson root. I did graduate in 2002 from Turtle. I do this as your recording secretary alongside with EDC and recreation. So right now I currently live in North Stonington, right off of a land trust. So a lot of things I hear here, actually see out, you know, talking about the bluebirds and the hiking and all that. I see that out where I live. So
thank you, Heather. Okay, my other question was, do you think it would be a good idea if we had a list of the names and telephone numbers or some way to contact each of us in case we wish to call? Would that be possible?
I think now that we've filled our roster once again, I've made updates to the website already, but I can also produce a list of that information for everybody as well.
That would be good, since I don't use the web.
Neither do I.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On to the approval of the minutes from August 15th.
Long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah, I move the approval.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
You know, just that man that was here rumbling, that wasn't at that meeting?
That was John Rice.
John Rice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I really don't, yeah.
Was John Rice here at the meeting? I
Yeah.
didn't see
The
him.
15,
Oh,
right?
What's that?
The meeting we were upstairs,
Yeah.
that last meeting, yeah,
August 15th.
some concerns.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. So carried. Financial matters?
Okay, the available budget that's left is $20,738.39. And that's, we've used 28.6%.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we need a motion on financial matters. I think we're just quoting what's there.
Someone else has written up.
Okay, we go into correspondence. They're listed. Do you all have an agenda, by the way? Okay, so your correspondence is listed in front of you. I see they'll be discussed later. Oh. So then we have the incoming mail and the incoming via email.
We need a motion, Norma, to approve the invoice from Parker Cemetery Services.
Excuse me?
Do we need to make a motion to approve the Parker Cemetery Services invoice? How do
I
we?
believe
do-
that's discussed later in the agent report.
I think that's in his, in
Okay.
Dan's report, so we can
Get it then? Okay,
we
that's
can do
fine.
it then. Okay, so now we'll go to the conservation agent's report. Dan?
Okay, so the first item, I'm just gonna go run down the list of them. Pat is new to the commission. We did our welcome. And I thank her for her interest. Now that we have a full roster, we want to elect officers. Unfortunately, Phil passed away in the month that we weren't able to hold our meeting. And he was our chair, but unable to chair our meetings for a while. And Norma's been filling in as our vice chair. We have one item of business but beyond election of officers, which is the establishment of our 2023 meeting dates. And I've left copies for everybody there. Our meetings
That's
happen.
That's listed under new business, so we'll be addressing that
Yep.
later.
Also, one item we discussed a while back about a regional healthy water plan. And I'm wondering if we want to pick that up again in the new year. It's a regional partnership that would be required to implement this plan for the French River we had originally discussed. But I would like commissioners to think about that and see if it's an achievable goal.
Would this be related to the MS4 or would it be something else?
Something else. Judy might have more experience in discussing the healthy water plan from her time.
Oh, the watershed. So we're talking about the watershed plan?
Yeah.
Sure, okay, yeah, I was wondering if it was some other initiative that we've been approached about. Okay,
But I think sounds like a good idea. It could be a bit of work and wrangling other municipalities since we share that river.
Well, don't you think we better regulate what we got here without regulating other municipalities?
that is a good argument too. But I know we kind of kicked the tires on this idea last year, and I wondered if the commission was interested in approaching it again. But yeah, we've got our own waters. And I think there's one mention of one issue that we have in town with an impaired water with the Wheaton Brook later on in my report. On to the next item, the neglected and abandoned cemetery grant offered by the state's Office of Policy and Management is no longer being offered. We've used that grant to do a lot of work. In the last 2 years, we were awarded over $3,000, which went to make dramatic improvements to Wilsonville Cemetery with the work that Mark Parker and volunteers and Norma's coordination, Thompson together really got a lot accomplished with that grant.
Mark Parker does not volunteer. He's the paid person. The other people are the volunteers.
Yep. On a recent Killingly Festival Day, I spoke with members of their Conservation Commission who had a tent set up, and they spoke to me about their historical tours. They have brochures. I think it's something that we might want to consider some kind of promotional brochures or driving tours for our cemeteries. I know Carolyn was collecting examples of well put together cemetery tour kind of promotional material. I think more promotion of the cemeteries might increase donor dollars, and that could fill the gap where we were using the state grant. But I left, they're just basic printouts of what the Killingly Conservation Commission handed to me. I think we could achieve something similar or superior.
I think this is what really we have been working towards. But that's why we were trying to get some of our neglected cemeteries repaired, so they would be decent to look at, because so many of them were overgrown with trees and bushes that you couldn't even find the stones. So this has been our goal, is to get them updated, so we would be able to have some tours of something they could see. So yes, we'll move forward on that.
For the next meeting, I'll share some of the materials that Carolyn had collected, because I think they're still really provide a good demonstration of I think what we have in mind.
Good.
There's still no traction on the burial site or response from the state archaeologist about the possible burial site at North Governordale Pond. But fortunately, there is also no traction on development of that site, and there's still no application in the wind that I understand.
I have one about hiking.
Pat, do you have a copy of the agent's report? He's giving a report. Do you have a copy of it? You could follow through what he's saying.
Yeah, it's on page 2 now.
Oh, I can follow in this.
Excuse me, Dan.
Yeah, no worries.
Want to make sure that we can all follow through.
Sure.
On the selectmen's update now?
Sure. Wrote an article for our Bluebird Box program. Thanking Norma. Bernie Davis contributed a lot of boxes. Dave Clark made some boxes. Dave Eddy helped source materials, and we met demand. It was, I think, we're over like 45 distributed so far, and I get one person roughly every shift from our wait list coming by to pick up. We still have a few that seem that they might go unclaimed, and but as you know, somebody hears about it, I'm still getting requests for them as well. So I'm happy with how that played out, and I think everybody who had a hand in sourcing these materials and putting in the hours and doing the coordination on that to accomplish that. The Selectmen's update article, I left, if you're viewing my report by email later, it's a clickable hyperlink to the town webpage where the Selectmen's update is hosted.
Are there any paper copies around?
Yeah, I think I can make them if they're not available.
Oh, yeah.
Selectmen's. Yeah, I know. I took one last.
Okay.
And I believe Dave Clark was able to attend a presentation at UConn regarding forested wetland soils, sponsored by DEEP and USDA. I was wondering if you got your check in the mail, and how it went.
It went well. It was clearly geared toward forest. And most of the people there were there to get professional development points that are required to keep their licenses. So a lot of the conversation was way over my head. But when we went out in the field and there were two separate areas where we went looking at wetlands and stuff, and some things that I learned, because last time when I was working on my master's degree, wetlands were defined by the plants that were there. That's no longer the case. Wetlands are defined by the soil. And you really need a soil scientist to determine whether or not it's wetlands. But we looked at some soil examples, some digs where they showed the different types of soils that make a wetland. We looked at some GIS maps, and with big caveats on why GIS maps are a tool, but don't trust them, because they'll give you, like, in this 20-acre piece, it's going to say it's this kind of soil, but they won't say that this little pocket is wetlands and this little pocket is, it doesn't give you those pieces that are in there. And we stood in one field that, you know, looked like a grazing field, but you could see in the center of it was this place that there was getting no drainage whatsoever. So it was really interesting. I probably suffered from information overload by the end of the day. It was a lot to cover. It was a lot of walking, but I got a lot out of it.
Thank you.
Good.
Good, Dave.
I'll try to keep everybody apprised of training opportunities as I find them or get forwarded them. I'm glad you're able to attend. I went to that one a few years back, and I really enjoyed the food. It was a lot of foresters there for their continuing credits, but there was stuff to take away. Onto the next item in the report. I've been working in ArcGIS 10.8. The town planners asked if I could provide updates to our zoning map. And it's I believe it's due in December, but I've been able to tinker around a lot in ArcGIS, and I've kind of becoming a little bit more fluent, and I'll have the capacity to do what she's asking for, and likewise update the resource maps that Carolyn created with the newest information that we have. Those updates are probably coming next year after the zoning map update. But there's a lot we can do with that software, including local maps of our town parks and recreational trails and other areas of interest. On to the next item. Marla and I still have yet to purchase a shared cabinet, but both commissions have encumbered the necessary money. She just got back from her 3-week vacation, which is what we were holding off the purchase because we need to reorganize the office to accommodate the cabinet. And also there may be some assembly required. So she just didn't want to have it delivered and taking up all the space in the room until we could put it where it's going to go. But both commissions have encumbered the money and are ready to make the purchase. I had forwarded everyone an email last week to alert you to a question and info session for the zoning regulations updates, which occurred last Thursday. Marla and I had similar concerns about definitions that weren't in the zoning document that kind of needed to be wetlands, water courses, and conservation easement. And so Marla's preferred definitions should have been on the table in front of you. I told her I'd share her definitions with you, but I also invite, and she also invites any other.
Looks like this.
Her definition of easement is a little long-winded, but it covers all the bases I think it could need to cover. But so that session was held last Thursday. A Zoom recording link went around today, and I can share that with everybody by email next time I'm in the office. Also, that email that I forwarded from Marla kind of has a summary of where the changes were made in the document, including, I believe, a red line copy. But if some people were having trouble with the forwarded email, and if you were one of them, I can get you her email and that recording. I don't believe minutes were taken for the question and answer session. So we might have to rely on the hour and a half long recording to know where the conversation led. So MS4 is the next item. Marla and I were just about to try to dive into this, and but I understand we spoke a little bit today about this, that J&D might be putting together our MS4 stuff where we've been outstanding. And if Amy's in the meeting tonight, maybe she can speak to our new arrangement to get our MS4 permit squared away.
She's
not in the
not in
room
the
at the
room, yeah.
Okay,
He was.
okay.
Some ideas-
That's
some ideas for the public education programs, is that it?
yeah. Well, Marla had an annual report that that's going on 3 years now, that she wasn't able to work closely enough with the Public Works, who had transitions in their leadership, to get this report finalized. But my understanding now is that we entered into a contract with J&D Civil Engineers for them to complete this report, but I'm not sure. This is fresh. It was fresh news to me today around lunchtime, but we weren't able to go into depth about it. But there are still programs that I think we would be involved with from a conservation standpoint of public educational programs. And one of those might be like the rain barrel workshop that we sought a grant for last year, but we didn't get that grant. But a program like that, I think, would tie into our responsibilities in that. But I kind of want to see where I need more information about what J&D is going to be doing and what they might need from us. But I think there's no shortage of workshop or programming ideas that this commission could pick up if that is a requirement of that MS4 program.
Sounds great.
I think that's a good idea.
I just see that we now have a new Director of Public Works in place. Could you tell us who?
Wow.
I-
that happened.
I believe he is already on the crew, and this is a promotion, but I haven't met or worked with him yet.
You know his name?
No.
Amy isn't here to tell.
When Amy comes back in the room, we'll ask her.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to know.
But I think we need to talk to Janice and see what we can do, if we can sponsor a public education program or something. Just doing the rain barrels doesn't seem like much to me. I
No,
think we do more than that.
absolutely.
You're
Okay.
talking about having people build rain barrels, you mean, or? No.
Or just burst them, fill them, use them to do the gardening,
No,
whatever.
my son
we-
has two. Yeah, my son has two huge ones.
We have,
They-
yeah, the
yeah.
55-gallon jam,
And I'm-
and if the faucets at the bottom, and we hit hoses to them and line it down to the garden areas.
Oh,
if
you
we
did the
need.
hose thing?
Yeah.
Oh, someday I'll have to see how you did
Be
that,
glad to have you
because
over.
we have two huge rain barrels, but I keep filling them, and walking across down the whole yard to water.
Oh,
the
that's
garden,
okay.
yeah.
No, we have it come off the roof of our
Yeah, he does too.
outbuildings. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, there we are.
Okay, sorry.
Show and tell.
Yeah.
You could probably give us the program on that, Judy.
Done those a few times.
We'll have to put something together. Okay, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, the Connecticut Association of Conservation and Inland Wetlands Commissions. We have a shared membership with the Wetlands Commission. We have renewed our shared membership. They're the organization that puts out the Habitat newsletter, which is, they don't send us printed copies anymore, and it's only run on a seasonal basis, winter, summer, spring, etc. But they are publishing it again after a hiatus, and if you're reading the digital version of this, there's a clickable hyperlink in the agent report. But I can also print these out, but I'd like to know who would like printouts of things, like such as the selectmen's report, who would want digital information, who would want paper information. And then I can make them easily available rather than waiting for someone to ask. They are informative. They're good reading. They're short too, but they're only online now unless we print them out.
Do you receive the digital copy, Dan?
No,
Comes
I have to go and look for it.
Okay.
In their email blast, usually a monthly email blast, they'll mention a new edition of the Habitat if there's a new one.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't automatic. I'll have to click on their links back to their website and
Right.
and find it through their archive page.
Why don't
They,
Make one available
okay,
and bring it to a meeting.
Pictures of it off
Yeah.
of it.
Share it if we just have
I'm
Okay.
definitely not an email.
one.
yeah, then we only get one of those Connecticut Wildlife magazines, and I could just do the same as I left that for the commission tonight.
Bring it down and you can read it or
Yep.
share it.
So they are hosting their 45th annual meeting in North Haven. It's kind of on October 29th. It's close. It's too close. It's far away. And it might be. I think the admission is pricey, but they're an organization that has really helped to guide Connecticut conservation commissions in terms of what we, pushing commissions to focus on certain things, reminding for Pat, for example, today I left a couple resources for, and one of them is published by Cackwick and as a guide for conservation commissioners or conservation commissions. And a lot of our operations kind of mirror their best practice recommendations. And I think they've really helped to strengthen the cause in the state. So I'm glad we renewed our membership. Onto the next item. I'm also now the Woodstock Wetlands and Zoning Officer, part-time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are the kind of responsibilities I held in Windsor Locks. And it's quite a different portfolio of work and pace of office. It's very busy there right now. But that is also from a lag in a couple months coverage of the responsibilities. But I am keeping my schedule as I have on Mondays, Wednesdays, and pretty much every other Friday, as I need to fill hours or if there's something timely I have to complete. It's 2 jobs is crazy, but it's I'm glad to be working 40 hours a week. And I'm also, while Marla was away, I was covering the wetlands agent responsibilities. But it was a fairly quiet month. There was just some property inquiries. What can you do in, this, what can I do with my land kind of questions. I did inspect an erosion and sediment control issue on New Road. It was quite a blowout of sediment overtopping a bank and pouring out the driveway. And tomorrow I'm going back to the site with Public Works and Marla to, I think, address this issue but when New Road was mined out, it changed the whole course of how the water came down the hill. And now there's these kind of issues with a few different properties on New Road where water wasn't there before, and now it's starting to find its way, and it's causing
I was just gonna ask, where's New Road?
East Thompson.
Off of Wilsonville?
Is it off 193?
No, Aquatic Town.
Off Aquatic Town Farm Road is kind of, yeah.
Oh,
And East Thompson Road to cross.
Okay. Watertown Farm Road down?
the
No.
far end of Aquatic Town Farm Road? Where,
It's
off
towards
of,
East Thompson, to by the Speedway.
yeah, yeah, that's that
Okay.
entrance, that end.
Yeah, way down.
So we'll, on Wednesday, Marla and the new director of Public Works and I are meeting on site to.
That's good.
I'm still also the wetlands recording secretary for Thompson. It's extra work, but I need it. It's a blessing. And it helps me get familiar with land use applications that could potentially impact our commission. One of the issues that Marla and I were working on together was getting to the bottom of the fire that was at Aquatic Town Farm Road, the brush fire in August, that was kind of like right on top of other violations and other complaints that we were receiving. We still have no updates from the state fire marshal. But I'm making a note for myself to look for more.
I'm to wait for a analysis of a fire.
I'm sorry.
It's a long time to wait for an analysis of a fire.
Yeah.
I mean, how
I
many
mean,
months?
it could be that our local fire marshal has already received that, but it didn't get back to our office, but we've raised our hand to show our interest in receiving that information with everybody in the chain. But it's potentially tied into a wetlands clearing complaint, deer baiting. There's a big complaint that we have over there that these two could potentially be one and the same, and it would definitely impact our ability to follow through on the wetlands complaint if the person is no longer there anymore or what. But I'm going to bring that up with Marla next time I'm in the office, and maybe we can get our fire marshal to ask again for us.
Who's our fire marshal? Is it the Putnam one?
Jamie, isn't it?
It's Jamie.
Jamie Snee.
Yep.
No, wait, yeah, Jamie Snee, yeah.
From here?
Yep.
Thompson?
Yeah, he's Thompson, born and raised.
And I did mention onto the next item, I've updated the website to reflect our current membership. And I also welcome any comments from everybody about it, the site's usefulness. Could it be a better resource? Have a look at it when you can. The commission previously had its own website that was not hosted on the town, but they kind of forced the commission to migrate to a town hosted website. And we still have all the same features, I believe, of the previous website, but it looks like a generic website that every town out there has. It's Civic Plus. It's every town that I've ever worked for or been a commissioner member on has used Civic Plus. The sites look very uniform besides the use of the colors. But we could stock that site with all the useful things that we could possibly think of. But have a look at the town website for our page if you can, and let me know if there's trouble with it. Sometimes I know when people are looking for the town or the conservation page, they click on the land use and it brings them to a page that it's a landing page for zoning, wetlands, planning and conservation, and they think our page is messed up or something, but I think it could be improved if you guys let me know if you have any ideas. I mentioned the Connecticut Wildlife Magazine. It should be on the table in front of everybody, and they have this also available online and archived at a hyperlink I provided here, portal.ct.gov deep wildlife /Connecticut Wildlife Magazine. Probably the best way to find it is not typing in that whole hyperlink with dashes and underscores and everything, but to plug Connecticut Wildlife Magazine into Google or other search, and you'll have access to it's a quality magazine, great full color photography, and pertinent stuff to what our commission works on. It's usually a bird on the cover.
No, it's a turtle.
It's a turtle this time. Okay,
Mhm.
good. There will be this upcoming Saturday, maple sap collection workshop put on by the Yale Myers Forest. This is free regarding tubing systems, installation, and sap storage. It's a program starts at 9 a.m. to noon, rain or shine, on Saturday the 22nd at their center, 150 Center Pike in Eastford. They're hosting a few different workshops on this season on maple related, and there's a hyperlink for that as well, but you could probably best find that by Yale Forest Maple Workshop, and it'll bring up a calendar. You'll be able to find a calendar of their free events, but you need to RSVP. And the fourth page at the top of the page, Last Green Valley is putting on Walktober, or organizing Walktober. It's more than 100 kind of events throughout the region, educational walks, stuff put on by different groups such as Audubon or Last Green Valley themselves or Wyndham Land Trust. Stuff that we have going on in Thompson upcoming is a train wreck walk on the 20th. And I think the Wyndham Land Trust is putting on a hike of the Tamler Preserve and a night sky adventure on October 22nd. And the Last Green Valley has a bunch of calendars and event books, kind of anywhere where you see brochures, that theirs is likely to be alongside those. But they also host this information online too. And they call it Walktober. Speaking of the Land Trust, Wyndham Land Trust, they recently had a donation appeal to raise $10,000 towards a purchase of a 91-acre property in Thompson. that was contiguous to the Bull Hill location and properties north of Bull Hill that they take care of. When all that's finalized, I can anticipate more trails to be blazed and use to increase. I haven't walked that section area yet, and I look forward to it. But I think Wyndham Land Trust is really putting together a very strong tourist, at least recreation, outdoor tourist location with that Bull Hill property, and every piece that they add adjacent to it really increases its value. Another land trust note, I was able to attend the land trust dinner and annual meeting on October 6th. It was hosted at Tyrone Farm in Pomfret, and they discussed the membership and property acquisition goals in terms of numbers and not specifics. So they did mention the previous property as a success in their recent appeal. They mentioned that they have very lofty acreage goals, and they have a lot in play right now that they weren't privy to discuss, that more properties might come under their charge shortly here. Also, a deep master wildlife conservationist delivered a presentation about black bears in Connecticut, which was had everybody very interested in. It was a good question and answer session following that. And I think while we don't have the black bear population out here that the other side of the state has, the point that was hammered home is that we have the environment here, a perfect environment here for them if they make it past 91 and get into Eastern Connecticut. There are
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I know somebody in Woodstock, North Woodstock.
So we had
that's
one
seen it.
in the 200 Sportsman's Club. My son was out shooting his bow, practicing, and he said there, and we had just been the day before looking for blueberries. It wasn't a big bear, but he had the picture of it going across, right there, and it startled him, but it just went on its merry way. So that was
Yeah.
like
have
the
a
other
wide
side of
range.
395
Yeah.
over by Webster Lake.
They're here.
They've been
Yeah.
on my,
There's an article.
They've been on my
your deck.
They've been on your deck. There you go.
There's an
Yeah,
article
yeah.
in Hartford Current of a 10-year-old boy getting attacked by one.
it's
Yeah.
on TV.
Yeah, but I banging at it from his wheelchair, his
Yeah.
grandfather or something like
So
that.
they crossed O'Leary Road and went up towards the old Johnson's Corrugated
Yeah.
and went into Webster.
And how about the good size one that was a few years ago on Pompeo Road? So we
They're
have them
passing
scattered.
through.
They are around. They have a wide range too.
Yeah.
Yeah. One was this one particular tag number that they discussed had crisscrossed the state just like
Oh, wow.
twice in 2 months. Like it's
Oh,
they get around. But we don't have the numbers that like Litchfield County and like Avon, they had a kind of a sighting bubble. And most of the sightings, like I think Morris and Avon each had like 300 encounters, whereas each of our towns around here had like 1 to 5. And then they'd show that progression over a few years, and our 1 to 5 would turn into 5 to 10, in local towns. So I think the males will keep going further to find a suitable space, but they're limited by the how close the females are. So the population is spreading, and I think black bears will be a bigger conversation in the next 5-10 years around here. And they said we have the similar conditions to where locations where they thrive. So you could see that happening here. It's very easy to imagine.
I hope it doesn't happen too fast.
You'll be having a party on your back porch.
Rather them than the coyote.
I guess the coyotes.
And the last couple items, I bring up a particular property in my search for ideal open space, but there's many. And I was trying to find a great metric to really approach this. And I did find one whereby people cataloging of open space. So we have this PA 490 open space or forestry program where things are perceived as open space. And that is to itemize what we have in there is more than half the town is in that designation. So I don't want to lean too heavily on one particular property. It's a bad negotiation tactic. There are other properties that I'm going to encounter here that make a lot of sense, but I believe the best parcels to pursue are contiguous to something that's already conserved. Increase the value of something that already exists. And so those are the list of, that's the chief metric that when I provide a list that we could talk about in an executive session someday, of these types of properties that provide a link. But there sometimes the right isolated parcel comes up and it's not a link, but it's the right parcel. But I want to provide a whole host of these potential properties rather than kind of pick on one in particular. I mean, that I think is great, but it's still preliminary. But I believe because of the state has is not meeting its open space, its open space goal in Thompson. The town is doing great. Land trusts are doing great, but the state is not meeting its numbers in protected open space. I think that is something to lean into once we identify a particular property and prepare a thorough application, that the fact that the state is not meeting its open space goals could wind up getting us some money our way to protect something.
But isn't it advantageous for our town to be more involved, or the land trust?
Yeah,
Because then it would be, if the person wanted it in perpetuity, it could be, whereby in other words, do you think we should worry about the state's deficit? Because in a sense, the state could decide to sell some of their properties.
that's true. The
Down
state
the
also
road?
has a property acquisition board where they could also buy a property on the market too to meet its goals. I think there, yeah.
So my comment is, should we worry about the state's deficit, or should we support our town and our land trusts? And
Well, the state's deficit is one rationale that we can say in an application that, you know, the state is underperforming in this one area here, and that's with seeking the state open space grant. Now, Wyndham Land Trust is also in the business of seeking state open space grants. And if they have the right property too, or if our town of Thompson sought it, I think there's money on the table that Thompson really could get a piece of if we lay out all the right bullet point rationales, and also have the complete and thorough application with a can't miss property. But that's also, I think, Wyndham Land Trust can make all the same arguments, or we need to protect more land is
Yeah, but we're
my-
doing a pretty good job.
I think we are. But it doesn't stop. We lose some nice places sometimes too when we're not prepared to act on them.
Yeah, I
The
think,
spec-
have you looked at the, when we prepared the open space plan many years ago, we went through a pretty thorough process at that time. One of which was looking at co-occurring resources, identifying parts of preservation. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at all that material. It might be worth reviewing that, revisiting it, and seeing if we still agree on those criteria or whether we want to change them.
So that document was
Yeah.
from 2005. And so it could definitely use an update. The Open Space Committee, I think, ran from 2003 to 2005, and then published an open space and conservation and open space plan. Not to be confused with the plan of conservation and development. Our open space and conservation plan did have a great set of criteria. I think there might even be one on the table that I included for Pat Cheever. But I think that in my personal notes that's been a document that I'd like the commission to think about it again at some point. Should the town convene an open space committee and take that same approach it took from 2003 to 2005 to really hone in its goals, and then have a document to really run with.
Going on with the zoning
I think that would make a
in
lot of
town
sense.
that's trying to do different things that I
Yeah.
don't understand, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of conflict about people's lands.
Mhm. Whether it's
Areas of
buildable
land.
and not buildable. and
Right.
Ledge and.
Yeah. I kind of confused. I don't know whether we have to get involved with that or not.
Settle with the dust settle with that stuff.
I know it's really been a conflict.
I think before revisiting our open space and conservation plan, that we should allow the dust to settle on the zoning amendments.
Thank you.
And Marla is also preparing to introduce some wetlands regulation amendments, and I think those two really are the horse before we work on our cart.
Okay.
But we do, I think that it was authored in 2005. I think we really could put our heads together and improve it. Or at least schedule some time to review it.
Okay, is that the end of your report, Dan?
Yes, thank you, Norma.
Does anyone have any questions of Dan on this report? I know I've interrupted a few times.
I
To
know,
get
and
some clarity.
I don't know if this would come under here or not. I forget which section he covered, but it made me think about it. That there was a bad ATV accident.
Excuse me?
There was a bad ATV accident this weekend. So it had to be light flighted. It's down in what's known as the Trails Off Baker. It's where Baker Road crosses Quatacount Farm from the state forest. They ride dirt bikes and ATVs in there, not legally.
I know, we have areas
Each
in
place
my
they ride.
area. where that
Apparently
happens.
some young person got badly injured, took them quite a while to
Get 'em out.
extricate him and get him out of there and get him over to the racetrack where the life flight helicopter could land and pick him up from there. It's sad. I wish these people wouldn't ride these things when they don't have their own land to ride them on. But,
Well, do what the alpaca farm did, cut down all the trees.
well,
So when you walk the trails, you gotta walk and stuff. Yeah,
Climb over the trees
Yep.
that are felled.
good exercise, but yeah. You're
Okay,
not
moving on
jogging.
to old business, I guess we have none listed. Under new business, we have the election of commission officers. So now open for nominations. And I'd like to,
How did we do this? This-
I'd like to, no-
Four people that are here that are all nominated or basically have a position.
no,
you
I'd
just
like
have
to
to vote
nominate
on it.
Judy as our chairman. And I'm willing to serve as vice if you would like me. And I twisted Carol's arm and I think she's willing to do treasurer. So if someone would like to, if anyone agrees with that, if they would like to make the nomination.
I'll second both of those.
I'll second, I'll third them.
All four.
I'm just learning,
That
so
was
I mean,
hard.
a lot of things are still like way over my head. Maybe this, reading through will help
Yeah.
me get
I agree with
someplace,
you.
but this is a whole new ballgame to me, so.
Okay, so would you nominate them?
I'll nominate everybody you nominated.
Okay.
I
well,
second
I
that.
suggested, so you're nominating,
I'm
and Pat is
nominating.
seconded. And any further discussion or any other nominations from the floor?
Or do they want it?
I was gonna say, are they accepting?
Do they object?
Um, I twisted Judy's, well, I didn't have to twist too hard, but I asked Judy, since Judy has a lot of expertise in this, if she would be willing to until some of our new members got a little more oriented to what we're doing. And she has agreed.
So what are we doing? We're listening to this marvelous report, but then from where do we go from
Well,
here?
let me finish with this.
Okay.
We've got the, but, so a motion was made and seconded. No other nominations from the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. So carried. Okay, what is your question, Sue?
Where do we go from here? I mean, we've listened to the reports, but then what are we supposed to do now?
Conservation commissions are provided specific duties through the state statute that creates the conservation commission. So we should probably share with the new members a copy of that regulation, Dan? Can you dig
It
it up
might
and
be.
send it to everybody? Did you hear?
It might be in here.
Probably in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
handbook.
Is it
or-
here, Dan? Can you, Dan,
might
can you
be in
see up?
there.
I got the
You
town
can't see
of
it.
Thompson
can't?
Conservation and
No.
Open Space Plan.
These, I think we all have one of these.
This one, yeah.
I don't know if I do or not. I didn't bring out all my
Handbook
stuff
for
with me.
Connecticut Conservation Commission.
And do we all have a handbook for Connecticut Conservation Commission?
I know that Dave, Pat, and Sue should have one, because they were new. But I can make sure that everybody else has one, and also our conservation and open space plan that we referenced earlier. I provided both of those for Pat, but I can make sure that everybody else has those as well.
Yeah, that
Do
would
I
be
just
good.
use this as a guide or am I supposed to read it word for word?
Yeah,
It's not a crazy read. There's a lot of I
This
think-
one here would probably be more interesting.
Yeah. But have a skim through it. That does lay out kind of what our areas, what our charge is. And kind of, we advise other commissions on land use regulation changes or applications that, say if there was a subdivision application, and there was more than 4 of them, and that triggered the need to set aside some open space or designate an area under a conservation easement. We'd get involved there. We're looking at identifying properties that have co-occurring resources, as Judy mentioned, an endangered species or something special about it, that it's close
So
to.
do we tend to run in or work along zoning?
I was thinking we'd have to interrelate with that.
We interrelate to some degree. Our commission is advisory, whereas theirs is regulatory.
There's people out there now that are saying, you know, my land is wetland or my land is this, and isn't that where we come in to either? Well, we could either make them happy and say yes if we know.
So
we
the
don't- We don't do stuff like that.
No, wetlands is its own regulatory agency, and we work closely. Marla and I share the same office and bounce stuff back across the room all day. But she, the wetlands agent would receive an application for development if there was any work occurring within the upland review area. Hold on one second. All right, the wetlands agent would receive an application if there was work occurring in an upland review area. The wetlands commission is the first step in a land use application if there are wetlands on a property. If she were to get something pertinent to what we're doing, like hits on the natural diversity database, there's endangered species, or it's contiguous or adjacent to a conserved property, they'd loop us in to weigh in on the resource or comment. But ultimately that wetlands commission would review its application and vote to approve. And if they approved it, it would go to planning and zoning, and we would advise planning and zoning essentially with the same.
They can't do anything because there are spotted salamanders there or something, right? Is that where we would come in?
Well, we can't say you can't, but we can say there are spotted salamanders there. We're not a regulatory agency, so.
They're not endangered, but I mean, you
They
know,
don't give a royal crap. if
So
they wanna
Dan,
do something.
could you, for the next meeting,
Yep.
have a sheet of how
Well,
this rolls together?
Yep.
Of where we fit in? So this would be clearer than just you trying to explain it
Sure.
tonight.
I could keep going. There's a lot of, and that book that I gave to Pat, kind of, there's like 5 or 6 core things that the conservation commissions usually get involved in. And not every conservation commission is the same by any stretch. Some are shared commissions, Conservation and Wetlands Commission. Ours is a separate commission from wetlands. So they each differ from town to town, but there are some core items that if there is a conservation commission, that's a scope of work that or area of stuff that they work on. In Thompson especially, we're heavily involved with the cemeteries, but we also overlap a little bit with trails, agriculture. We advise those other commissions as things come up, and most recently we've had to advise those commissions on their regulation changes. But generally, when after those regulations change and the developers have the green light again, I'm sure there's going to be some applications that we're gonna review, and one of those, and I'd like to make sure everybody is fully versed on how to read a site plan. Because we haven't really had to look at one in a while, and I want to make sure that we're comfortable reading them
Well, we have a
eventually.
lesson in that.
That would be like,
Okay, so maybe next meeting we could do that.
I think
And,
so.
And then how about being involved in what the MS4 or the French
Did,
River? Or,
Yeah,
come up with, I think that's what you're asking, Sue, is we talked about it, what are we gonna do about it?
Yeah, I mean, we can sit here all day and jibber jabber about this, but are we going to actually take?
We
Action.
we can be if that's what we want to do, as long as that action is within the scope of the authority stuff.
Do we work?
We're
with the-
awarded by
Wetlands is
state
another group
regulation.
entirely
Yeah.
in
Yes.
Thompson
Yes.
as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So we should
Yeah.
coordinate with them in a lot of ways then, I would think.
So what do you
And
see
we-
that we will be, in your opinion, Dan?
Yep.
What do you feel at this point, we're capable of doing, of looking into or getting started on?
run some programs. I think we kind of I had to draw up one in a sense for that rain barrel grant that we sought that we weren't able to get the money on. Stuff like that, but that kind of will wait for J&D's whatever they're doing with our MS4. They've taken the reins of MS4, is my understanding. And programming, it is an aspect of that MS4 compliant town, that it has educational programming for its residents. And that's the Wetlands Commission doesn't work on educational programming. They review land use applications more than anything. Our commission, or agricultural commission, those are kind of the commissions that could take point on an educational program related to MS4, but there's also a number of angles we can dive into, just conservation. A healthy water program might have educational components to it. Identifying open space target properties is one of the things of the scope of our commission. I think in the book that I gave Pat Cheever, it says every commission member on a conservation commission member is invited to have an area of expertise and ideas for projects to implement. So I work for, as I said it earlier, I work for the commission, but I work for every single one of you commissioners. So if there's an idea, let's throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. But I think the next step is to have these materials for our meeting, those two booklets, to make sure everybody has them, and we could all get on the same page with the core ideas, and then let our minds get creative for projects and other things so we can be a committee of action.
What is MS4? I think I've lost exactly what,
That would have been before.
right.
You want me to take that one?
Yes, go ahead, Judy.
I mean, I totally have,
Judy, would you like to explain?
Yeah, I can explain what MS4 is. So the federal government, under the Clean Water Act, has a number of different requirements that they put on states that are related to how states manage dirty water essentially in the
Okay.
state. So the MS4 program, it stands for, I always get this backwards, municipal, small municipal separate storm sewer systems. Okay, so.
Yep,
storm
you got
drain. So not your sewer system that takes your toilet waste and takes it to the sewage plant, but this is all the water that goes into the storm drains that are built into the roads.
which have been
And so
multiplied.
if a town exceeds a certain population or has a, based on the census, the most recent census, if it has a population center that triggers it as being subject to this MS4 permit. So it's a statewide permit, each town that has a certain population level, and it's kind of a density, so actually for us, it's North Grove.
So in
and
other words,
Dale.
what you're saying, this MS4, it would be like,
So
if it rained a lot on Route 12 and it was very oily water and it was feeding into the French River, is that kind of where?
that's kind of sort of where it's going. So what the town has to do is the town has to, first of all, they have to know where all their storm drain systems are.
Right.
So they have to map everything. Then they have to test the water that's coming out of the storm drains to see what the pollutant load is. The state of Connecticut has already tested all the waters in the state, so they
Mhm.
know which waters are already polluted and which ones aren't. So if we have storm drain systems that are discharging into polluted waters, then we have to take certain steps to essentially clean up that area so that the water that's going out into the stream via the storm drain.
Okay, where I live,
isn't
I have beach rights on Webster Lake. And when the water goes down years ago, it used to go into the parking lot and filter into the lake. Then they put in the sewer system through, and they started building. So when the water comes down now, it goes into the storm drain, and there's a system that cleans it supposedly before it goes into the lake.
Yeah. So that's something that a town could do as part of its MS4 permit. When they sample the water, if they determine that the pollution that's coming out of it exceeds a certain threshold, then they have to go back into the neighborhood, try to identify what the sources are
What's-
and
okay.
interrupt them. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And that's actually where we come in with outreach, because if we work with the highway department or J&D Civil Engineering, who is the town's consultant for MS4, they can identify the problem areas, and then we can go and help do outreach. So if I don't know, people are putting too much fertilizer on their lawns and it's washing into the river, or
Like they had that problem up at Mashmucket,
Somebody
right?
there-
Wasn't it Mashmucket? The
Mashmucket
farm?
always has trouble with
Yeah.
bacteria,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you see high bacteria levels, maybe we can help people, encourage people to manage bacteria, pick up after their dogs, don't dump their chicken waste into the stream, things like that.
Don't wash your clothes down. No. people don't
They
do
put
that.
in a lot of storm drains this year, all over Thompson. Are they existing, like on 193 in the
Yeah.
center
They've
of
been
Thompson?
updating them.
They, yeah, they're, it's all
Updating.
mapped.
They've been updating them.
Yeah, updating them, but is there a map, an underground map literally for where these things
Where the
drain
water-
to?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yes, it should all be mapped.
That would be kind of fascinating.
So they
Yeah.
know where the
Because-
pipes are, where the drains are.
Yeah,
What the
in my
drains are.
neighborhood, they had something done where they had the drains, and I know they go right into wetlands area that eventually feeds into the,
The river.
well, the river and the lake.
Yeah.
The, West Thompson
Mhm.
Lake. And it could be bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's all downhill. So, yeah, and it goes on the corner of our property underneath the ground and under the road and into the wetlands area. I mean, I just wonder what goes in that water, other than rain.
So we can kind of outline them, and maybe we can get started on one or two of them, whatever
Mhm.
people want to get involved in. That sound good, Dan?
Yeah, something else.
Ask me next
Dan,
month after I read the book.
Do you want to talk a
Yeah,
little
really.
bit about the conservation easements that we oversee, that we hold and oversee? Because that's one of our biggest charges.
So over time, the town has acquired land or a permanent protective easement on a number of properties. I think we're around 30. I need the list in front of me. That prohibits or future development in perpetuity. It sets limits on that type of activities that could occur on the property. And basically, these are protected lands. And sometimes some are wetlands. It's not all wetlands is under a conservation easement. This is just private property that the town has managed to come into an agreement or own with that we've applied this protection to. Usually this protection comes in with coordination with the property owner. The land trust properties have, they're essentially, their properties have similar development restrictions and conditions of use. And these are lands that are protected in perpetuity, meaning forever. Some people are unaware that they have this on their property.
It's supposed to be conveyed by the real estate agent at the sale, but it isn't
Yeah.
always done.
Yeah, and so somebody has a big chunk of land in the back of their property, and that was protected as put in a conservation easement as a condition, a subdivision condition 20, 30 years ago. A couple changes of ownership. The new property owner doesn't know that they can't really do much with the back 5 acres of their land, or even that there's a utility easement also on the property right next to the conservation easement. So sometimes when somebody gets a question for zoning or wetlands of what can I do with my property, and they find out, oh, you have a conservation easement on your property, you want to talk to the conservation agent. And I give them the news that there's not much that they can do, and that this land was set aside as a condition of development and protected permanently.
And it's our responsibility to check them,
And monitor that,
not built on.
yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah, they're pretty pissy right now, these folks that want to do something with their land. Yeah, very, very angry.
Well, there's a system of outreach. Now, some of these are on town-owned land, so I can go and check that, and nobody's going to get mad. Somebody might be suspicious about what I'm doing, but I'm on town land and inspecting a conservation easement. Conservation easements that are on private property, we definitely correspond with anybody before ever showing up, and we show up with an invitation. But built into this easement, the language of this easement, it's a document that's filed on the land records. The language of that document gives the town, as there's a grantor and a grantee, the town gets the privilege to inspect these properties to ensure that there's compliance with the restriction in the easement.
Who
But
is the town? I mean, who's representing the town?
that would be me.
Okay,
So the conservation agent, and I think it's actually a role of the Conservation Commission delegated to the agent. So, but the Conservation Commission maintains a list of all the properties that have this conservation restriction, and we monitor as much as we can that the conditions of the easement are met.
Maybe you can show the map next meeting.
Yep.
So they would understand.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, moving right along. A discussion of 2023 meeting dates. You have a sheet before you.
We do.
Mostly Mondays, except if there's a holiday on a Monday. I believe we have to have a motion on this to approve them. I think,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the
I'll second.
2023 meeting. date.
a motion made and seconded by Dave.
Yep.
To approve the meeting dates that are listed. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. So carried. If something comes up, we can also have a special meeting if one is needed. No date.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, citizens' comments. There's no citizens here.
No, sorry, before we jump ahead to citizens' comments, I just wanted to revisit the invoice from Parker Cemetery Services. Has it been our practice to approve payment, or do we just receive the invoices and pay them?
I don't think we've made a motion to approve
Okay,
in the past.
all right, that's fine. I just didn't know.
Would you like a motion on the records to approve the payment? I don't think we need one. The bills are shown to.
Because of the size of it, I would say, could you please make a motion and approve it?
Oh, okay.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve the invoice from Parker Cemetery Services.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? This was the Wilsonville Cemetery. I had Mark Parker restore most of the gravestones. And we had a grant and we ran over the grant. But there is a fund within the town where the town has some cemetery funds that you can draw from to pay the $700 and some difference to pay. We worked with volunteers, but we did have to pay the man that came with his block and tackle or whatever. He had tripods and whatever.
Yep, we did discover so we had about $900 available, a little over $900 available left of the grant. We have a town cemetery line of $1,500. And
From this budget.
yeah, from this budget, and that's a shortfall of $722. But after I got off the phone with you earlier today, Norma, I talked to Amy St. Ange, who was able to speak to our previous finance director, and she said there is another account. We haven't ran it down yet, and I was hoping Amy would be still in the meeting if she had any more information, but so there is.
Just walking in.
Oh, just talking about you.
A bit about the cemetery, about the donation.
Yes,
Yeah, Bill's been wrapped up, our finance director has been wrapped up with the audit. Orla said there's a spreadsheet that identifies some type of funds. We just haven't located the spreadsheet yet. So,
What about Thompson Together? Don't we have money from there
yes,
too?
but since there was monies in the town to do this,
We use that first.
right.
yes. But I
So-
said if they couldn't find the funds, but Ola had told me they had funds last year. Then I was going to go to Thompson Together for some funds. But-
So we'll be wrapping up the payment for Parkland Memorial Services through a few different account lines and finalizing our last draw on the neglected cemeteries grant and submitting our paperwork to conclude that. unfortunately, this is the last year of that grant. So it's something to think about. We're gonna have to, I don't,
I
there's
think
plenty.
we have a motion. I think we have a motion before us that we didn't vote on.
Right.
Yes,
That we approved the
Pardon?
bill.
Okay, yes,
Yeah,
to
we have
pay
a
the,
motion and a second.
Motion and
to
second.
approve it.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. So carried.
thank you.
Yes, my other question for Amy was, we have a new road foreman. Could you tell us who he is?
Oh, okay. Our new Public Works Director is Joe Tasek. Joe has been with the town for 18 years in the capacity of mechanic. He knows all of the ins and outs of Public Works, and just decided that he wanted to step up and take the position. So he'll be starting on October 31st. He had some winter projects that he had to wrap up as in his mechanics role. At this point, we're uncertain of when we're gonna find a mechanic. The job market is very competitive right now, and it's taken us a while to find 2 maintainers to fill the positions that were open. Those positions have been filled. Our second maintainer is beginning work on the 31st as well. So
What's his last name? Could you spell it?
Tasek, TKACIK.
TKCIK.
TKACIK.
Yes. Thank you. Did we have any other question for her? I think that was it. Okay, citizens' comments. We didn't have any other citizens, unless Amy wants to make a comment. Members forum, members, do you have any comments? Anything any other questions? We've kind of talked.
Next month after I read all my material.
Yeah, really.
Be prepared.
We gotta
Any-
find what our real role is. So to speak.
I'll give you this and, did you get one of these?
I gotta check at home. Don't give it to me until I
Okay.
check at home, because I,
All right, next thing is, members don't have anything. Okay, Dan, do you have any other comments?
just turn
I'll
yourself on.
Yeah, not right now, if I do, I'll reach out to you guys.
Okay, any announcements coming up? What's cooking that we should know about?
Turkey Trot coming up. There's also this, so that's a 5K run through the trails or a 3K walk. Laser light show coming up October 27th at the school. And,
I have to write that down.
yeah,
Oh, or did I have that written down? I gotta check.
Okay, and the next scheduled meeting is Monday, November 21st at 7 PM. And you're officially
We
adjourned.
have the Meeting for voting. So no
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
Please a show for me.
Thank you all for coming and thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I had another meeting that I had to get into.
Quite all right.